President easing those restrictions on sports and culture gatherings. We're joined now by AmaZulu Football Club Chairman Sandile Zungu. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us, Mr. Zungu. Your reaction to the announcement by President Cyril Ramaphosa?
Good evening, Tsapiso, and good evening to your viewers and listeners. We welcome the President's pronouncements. It's a moment that people in the sporting arena and in the entertainment fraternity have been waiting for a long time. It's long overdue, quite frankly. Notwithstanding, we welcome the pronouncement. The only thing that we are very cautious about is the sporting fraternity being converted to vaccine police men and women. It's a bit of an impractical expectation, and notwithstanding, let's see how it's going to go. We just welcome the fact that Moses Mabhida Stadium, with a capacity of 80,000 people, can now accommodate 40,000 people on a typical AmaZulu match. Is something that we really look forward to.
So when you say you're concerned that sporting men and women will be turned into some sort of COVID-19 policing the sports fraternity as a whole, what is that born out of?
If the expectation is that before a fan walks into the stadium precinct, that those who are administering the gates, the ushers and the usherettes will have to see the vaccine certificate. Number one, the authenticity thereof may require that we need to train the people to identifying a legitimate vaccination certificate and distinguish that from a fake one. It's quite a great expectation from the soccer administrators to do. Number two, the inconsistency. When people walk into pubs and restaurants to get drunk, there's no expectation that the drunk, so the pub barons must ask the patrons to produce vaccine certificates. Yet the sporting fraternity is expected to do so. When people attend political gatherings for the annual general meetings or the branch general meetings, there's no expectation that those in attendance must produce vaccine certificates. Yet the sporting fraternity is expected to do that. That kind of inconsistency surely doesn't sit too well with the sporting fraternity.
All right. Just in terms of...
We see inconsistency there.
Okay, I'm just wondering...
And a bit of unfairness in terms of expectation.
There has been work done, research done by the Sports Medicines Association guiding the return to sport in as safe as possible a manner. But what has been said, and amongst yourself as a football league, other sporting fraternities, on balancing the protection of the health of athletes while curbing the societal transmission of the virus. Some of it may or may not be your responsibility, but in the interests of your players, in the interests of your support technical teams, etc., what has been the discussion?
Well, all we know is that for the last 2 seasons, including this one, or rather 2 seasons and a half, there have been no fans allowed in the stadium. And it was in the interest of limiting the spread of the virus, and in the interest of protecting our athletes, well and good. It's been done consistently and without any failure on the side of the sporting fraternity. Up to thus far, we have respected all the provisions. Now that the government has seen it appropriate to lift and to enhance attendance at outdoor gatherings, the expectation that the sporting fraternity must now play the role of police for vaccine certification what we're saying is that is unreasonable an expectation.
No, sure, and I understand
our
that.
commitment to fighting the
I guess I'm just trying to glean
our
from
commitment
you.
to fighting the pandemic. I'm saying that our commitment to fighting the pandemic and to limiting the spread is not even a thing that must be questioned. We also have been true to that commitment, and at great sacrifice to the product of sports. And all the ancillary services that come with it. SMMEs who supply perishables to the patrons have suffered immensely. And it will have been our expectation that the restrictions are lifted. 50% is a very good start, ideally 100%. And without us as administrators now expected to limit the flow of spectators into the stadium. The bottleneck that should be created with us demanding certificates, inspecting certificates, instead of just looking at the tickets, will make it almost impossible for people to be enthused to go into stadium.
All right. I think, unfortunately, we've had a delay, Mr. Zungu. The point that I was actually trying to get was what the sporting fraternity within itself, the conversation that it's having, especially you learning from international trends on how best to manage it, how it will work for you. But unfortunately, we have run out of time. But I do thank you for taking the time to speak to us and sharing your thoughts. Sandile Zungu is the AmaZulu Football Club chairman.